Who's going to be doing what? There's no returning Midland player who attempted a pass last year for Midland. The top 2 rushers are gone from last year. The third leading rusher only had 3 carries in the final 5 games as they moved him to a receiver position. The leading returning receiver is a tight end. He had 34 catches last year and 4 touchdowns. They do have a returning receiver, Cale Walker, only 4 catches last year, but he had 178 yards, 44.5 yards per catch, and a touchdown. Kind of an interesting situation with Midland last year. They were held to 7 points twice. They were shut out in a game, but they scored 61 points at Hastings College. So really feast or famine for the Midland offense.
Well, and they were ranked 4th nationally last year in 4th down conversions. They were 58.8% in 4th down conversions. So they did have some success on the field on offense.
Now, when you look at the defensive side, they give up 32 points a game in 2013, and 4 of the 5 leading tacklers from that team are gone. Dalton Jenkins as a freshman last year, had 7 interceptions, which is just remarkable. Total of 17 on the team, and he had 7 of them. Plus, he's the second leading returning tackler with 42. Obviously, keep an eye on him. Chris Pelusian had 44 tackles. He was the leading tackler back from last year. Kind of an interesting guy to keep an eye on. Robert Mays, senior defensive lineman, only had 14 tackles last year, but 10 were behind the line of scrimmage. Then you have junior linebacker Ethan Renner. And Renner had 42 tackles last year, including 15 for loss, and he's also the punter and the kicker. So he does about everything, it looks like.
Well, he had as a punter last year, he had a 40-yard average on 64 punts last year. So it was he was very consistent with that. And you mentioned Jenkins with those 7 interceptions. That ranked him second in the NAIA in individual and interceptions.
Well, one other note I wanted to make here, of course, Josh Gehring in his 3rd season, we mentioned him earlier, 8-12 at Midland, former offensive coordinator at Morningside, so he knows how that program works. He was also the passing game coordinator for Wisconsin Whitewater, who is a D3 national champions 3 years in a row. So a great program, Wisconsin Whitewater. He told Coach Snyder before the game, this facility reminds him of some of those D3 powerhouses in Wisconsin when you see those facilities. The other I'm going to make a comment about, the defensive coordinator tonight, Paul Hubbard, was the defensive coordinator for the last 3 seasons at Mid-America Nazarene. And so, that gives you, he knows Peru State from being at Mid-America Nazarene. They were 54-14 during his tenure. And he played at Bethany, which, remember, we went down there a few years ago to Lindsborg, Kansas. So that's a look at Midland. We're going to come back and talk about a little bit about today's dedication facilities after this time out. You are listening to Bobcat Football on B103 Sports.
If you're just starting college, consider
all right. We're doing pretty good still, fellas.
Associate degree are
all right.
growing faster than jobs requiring
okay,
a
I'm trying to read this now.
College,
when we're done with this one, we should be
career and technical degrees on campus and online. And financial
well, we started 2 minutes. I mean, there was only 28 minutes on the clock when we started, so let's pick up some time.
Classes begin December 1st.
I can grab a couple waters here. Thank you.
40 years of excellence.
Oops.
Hey guys, we only got about 3 more commercial breaks. So you're going to need a little bit more?
Gridiron for more Peru State football on B103.
Alrighty, well, you are on in 15 seconds. Good luck. I don't think you'll need it, though.
Thank you very much.
All right, you are on in 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There you go, guys.
Welcome back to the Oak Bowl. Peru, Nebraska, Doc Wininger and Daryl Obermeyer. And Daryl, there is quite a scene going on the field tonight. We've talked a lot about this. Legislature appropriated $7.5 million for this facility. The Bobcat faithful fans and boosters contributed another $1.5 million, and now they're doing the ribbon cutting on the field. This afternoon they did a special ceremony for major donors of the facility, along with specifically Jim Krychek. A lot of money was given in his honor, and also for Jim Cantor in his memory. Jimmy Krychek is on the field. He is at about the 47-yard line. Jimmy Krychek, for people who don't know his story, was a great here for the Bobcats, 4-year player for the Bobcats, and had a major stroke a couple of years ago. He was one of the major motivating factors behind this facility. Darryl, how good is that to see Jimmy Krychek on the field?
Oh, it's absolutely great. I talked to his older brothers during the ceremony today, and it's just fantastic to have him here tonight.
Also out on the field, I see Lee Sapp and his family, Lee and Helen Sapp, they donated $500,000 for this facility. I believe the Cantor donation was in $100,000 range, and Jim Cantor's wife, widow Mary, and her son Troy out there. But this facility, so far, $9 million raised. They need about another $2 million to finish the field house. But to set the scene, you have these major donors and supporters of the college. Lieutenant Governor Heidemann, who arranged for the $9 million, $7.5 million with the match, is out there. Senator Watermeyer, the senator from this district, is out there. And then the entire Bobcat team is ringing them. It really is quite a sight here. We are going to be back after this timeout, and we're going to be talking about the Bobcats and what they need to do to be successful tonight. We'll be back after this timeout. You're listening to Bobcat Football on B103 Sports.
Nebraska State College System Board of Trustees Chair Michelle Suarez of Lincoln.
Again, the Bobcat dedication continues to go on in front of us. Sarah Beth Donovan, the chair of the board of foundation board, along with all of the other folks there. Again, we will take a commercial break at this time out, come back and talk about the Bobcats. You're listening to Bobcat Football on B103 Sports.
Things done on the honey-do list. Burr Farms Machinery rents everything you need to
good,
get them done a little easier, including high-lift equipment, skid steers, trenchers, mini excavators,
hey, Daryl, my reading of this,
attachments.
I'd like to get the format with how much time's left on the clock.
Week or month, and
I'm trying to figure that out. Adding up backwards, it looks to me like we should be
along Highway 2 for all your equipment rental needs.
We just did the opposing
Bobcat
coach
football.
interview.
All right, guys, get ready to go on. You're going to go on in
103.
a few seconds. I'll count you down. You go on in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you are on.
Welcome back to the Oak Bowl. Doc Wininger, Daryl Obermeyer pregame show. Let's take a look at the Bobcats. Bobcats finished 7-4 last year. Finished the season ranked number 24, which is where they start the season. It's been a long time since they've been ranked in back-to-back seasons in football, and so that's one of the really positive things about the direction the program is moving. They got as high as number 12 in the NAIA last year. At the end of October, they were 7-1, but then they went 1-3 in November after a whole slew of injuries. They were down to the fourth quarterback at that point. In fact, they only had 3, so that made things really difficult. The first home game in the Oak Bowl tonight is the first time since October of 2012. And it is something that the people have been waiting for. They played all 6 games on the road last year. The first game on this field, 1901. So really exciting to have all of that going on. Let's take a look at the Bobcats' offensive notes. Number 3 team rushing in the nation last year. Number 19 team in scoring. But Ethan Bray is back. For the second year in a row, the Bobcats lose their leading rusher. It was Ryan Ludlow 2 years ago. Now Ethan Bray this last year. Tyler Audsley's back. He's the second leading rusher, 812 yards. But guess what? He may not be playing offense. They're starting him at cornerback. They'd moved him from defense to offense last year after the injury, and so who knows whether he's going to be even carrying the ball or not.
Well, when he played football back in Arizona, he got all-conference, all-state from both sides of the football. He is just an all-around tremendous athlete. So no matter where Peru State ends up putting him, he's going to have a great night.
So Bo Shepard will draw the start there. Nate Trombley's back. Marcus Supercharged Spearman is back for his third senior year. Aaron Smith is back, the sophomore from Houma, Louisiana. We joke about Marcus Spearman because they listed him as a senior 3 years ago, and he finally has gotten there. On defense, a number 6 rushing defense in the nation last year for the Bobcats. Only gave up 112 yards per game. Number 36 in scoring defense, about 25 points per game, so that could be a high-scoring affair based on last year. 6 players back with more than 40 tackles, led by Cody Pietrowski with 59 tackles, Cody Sullivan 56 tackles, 4 INTs to lead the team, and John Drager, preseason All-American, along with Tyler Ford on the offensive side. He had 54 tackles. Also over 40 were Briar Burr, Logan Pabin, and Shane Lloyd. So a lot of defensive experience back.
Well, there is, but they are losing Curtis Larson. He had 268 career tackles here at Peru State. Zach Plemka, 196 tackles, and those two need to be replaced.
Levi Cockle is gone for your kicker, but Greg Conry returns, the junior from Harlan, Iowa, and we're told that Cody Sullivan may handle the punting duties tonight. He was an all-state punter at Norris, starting defensive back for the Bobcats. Well, that's a look at the Bobcats, and we will be back with our interview with Coach Schneider after this timeout. You are listening. We'll go right to that interview with Coach Schneider. Told there's no commercial break here, so we will go right to the interview. This is head coach Steve Schneider before tonight's game.
We're talking with head coach Steve Schneider before the opening game in the brand new Oak Bowl. And, Coach, let's start with that. How about this new facility, and what does it mean for Peru State?
Well, first and foremost, we're very fortunate to have the facility that we have, due in large part to the work of Dr. Hansen and his relationship with Levon Heidemann, our state legislature rep at the time when he secured funding for the Oak Bowl, and certainly the good work that Todd Simpson and his team did in the foundation office to raise the money needed to make this thing happen. And we're appreciative of all the alum and friends and businesses that have stepped up to the plate. There's not a better small college stadium in the Midwest, if not the country. Just talking with Josh Gehring, the Midland's coach, and he come from Wisconsin Whitewater, NCAA Division III National Championship, and it's very similar quality facilities. So we're pleased with it. We've had a number of alum back this week visiting with our players, and they kind of break down. It's just awesome. We're tickled to death to have the quality facility that we have, and our players are real appreciative of it.
Now, the players have to notice the increased interest level around not only for this facility but for the season itself. But what does having a crowd like this on an opening night mean to a team? It's just got to be incredible for these kids to look up under the lights and see what they're going to see tonight.
Yeah, our players just want to represent Peru State College in solid fashion, represent their teammates, and represent themselves by playing hard. I think that's what we have to do, what we need to do to just show our appreciation for that kind of support. I guess as head coach, I'm a little concerned. It might be a little emotionally too high, and after a couple of series, that intensity level usually wanes a little bit and get down to more realistic emotional level playing football. So just hope our guys aren't too high.
How about from a recruiting perspective? Have you noticed a difference in that yet? I know it's early on, and really, the first round of recruiting seriously won't be taking place until this next spring. But you had kids down there for camps. You have young people touring the campus. What kind of feedback are you getting from recruits?
Well, we're getting real positive feedback. Our camp growth probably doubled this past year, which is due one to the facility. That's probably a big part of it, and two to the good work that Coach Varley does, kind of coordinate our camp programs. So yeah, we've seen that. The other measure is this year's recruiting class. We got a lot of guys we wanted, top guys that we wanted. So I think the facility helps with that. We're able to, another measuring stick for me is we got about 10 or 12 kids out of Omaha, kind of metro area, and those young men are used to quality facilities. So we certainly have that here now as far as the stadium goes. We still have some work to do with the renovation of our locker room and office space, meeting rooms for coaches. So alum listening out there, there's plenty of heavy lifting that still needs to go, and we would appreciate you continuing to step up to the plate.
Talking with Coach Schneider. We'll be back with more with Coach Schneider after this timeout. This is the Bobcat Football on B103 Sports.
You drive a car, you own a home, and you need insurance on both. So why not see if you can save money in the process?
All right, we are doing good.
With the B. Harson Agency. When you insure both your home and auto with American Family Insurance, you may qualify for a substantial money-saving discount. Interested? Call me, Brent Harson, at the B. Harson Agency today.
Going to have to be quick starting lineups again today.
402-269-3392.
More Bobcat sports coverage is at B103.FM.
All right, guys, you are going on in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you are on.
Midland University game, and Coach, I was able to take in the scrimmage last week at Concordia. Let's talk about that a little bit. A couple of minor injuries, but anything major, first of all, coming out of injuries from that scrimmage?
No, nothing major. We had a couple starters that didn't practice much this week, but they're ready to go this evening. And we're about as healthy as we have been for an opening game since my tenure here at Peru State.
Looking at Midland University tonight, coming off a couple of 4-6 seasons the last couple of years, tell me a little bit about what you know on their personnel. I was looking at a lot of their offensive personnel gone from last year. Offensively, what is Coach Gehring going to try to do?
Well, Coach Gehring, served under Steve Ryan at Morningside, then coach out Wisconsin Whitewater, and those are two pretty good quality football programs. And they're kind of a spread team on offense. They run a lot of zone read and bubble and screens and draws, and try to lull you to sleep with some play action passes. So they're very capable of big plays on offense. And we don't feel they can take the ball and drive it 70, 80 yards on us. So hopefully we can tackle well and keep the ball in front of us, and I think we'll be in pretty good shape. But I know Coach Gehring's, assembled a pretty good staff. He's working a plan that appears as though they have a fair number of junior college kids out of California, which they haven't had recently. So, usually I bring some maturity to the table, and we'll just have to see how it all shakes out.
Talking with Coach Snyder before the Midland University game. Coach, you have two experienced quarterbacks coming into the season compared to zero that you had last year. Who are you going to see starting at quarterback?
Well, we'll play both, Bo Shepard and Tyler Audsley. Bo Shepard's going to start at quarterback tonight, and Tyler will start at defense. Tyler's just a beast of an athlete, You could argue that he may be our best quarterback, but we know for certain he's our best defensive back, and if he's not playing defense, the level drops off over there. So we think we're a better football team with Tyler starting on defense and playing some on offense as well. So we're back to his high school days. He'll be playing a little bit of both ways tonight.
It's really amazing at this level when you get a player that can play both ways. You just don't see that a whole lot anymore.
No, you really don't. That was kind of channel surfing this summer, and this must have been Holy Cross or somebody. They had a fullback that also played linebacker. He played both ways the entire game. But so it is kind of unique in that regard. You don't see it much anymore, but got to do what you got to do.
Well, it's the Bobcats and the Warriors tonight here from the Oak Bowl. Good luck, Coach.
Thanks, Doc. Appreciate it.
We will be back with more after this timeout. You're listening to Bobcat Football on B103 Sports.
You might think they just fix and sell tires at Douglas Tire, but
Sounding good, guys.
There's more. They also rotate the tires and do an alignment. But wait, there's more. At Douglas Tire, you can get your oil changed, brakes repaired, belts checked, and get a tune-up. And that's not all. Need transmission work? Starter giving you trouble? Bring your vehicle to Douglas Tire. Need a cup of coffee while you wait? You know where to go. Douglas Tire.
All righty, guys, you are on
Central Avenue,
about
Nebraska City.
5, 4, 3.
Follow B103 on Facebook and Twitter for live scores and more coverage of the Peru State Bobcats.
Here you go. You're on.
Welcome back to the Oak Bowl Peru. Let's take a look at tonight's starting lineups. First on offense for the Bobcats, left tackle, sophomore starting his first game for the Cats out of Wichita, Mays High School in Wichita, Kansas, Joe Hobart, 6'2", 245. At left guard, it's Hayden Krautner. He's a sophomore out of Port Richey, Florida, at 6'4", 295. Matt Miners, a senior out of Benson, gets a start at from Omaha Benson, gets a start, 6'1", 295. Dylan Brueggemann, the right guard, he's 6'1", 315. And the right tackle is Tyler Ford out of Lincoln Southwest, the preseason All-American. First start, true freshman out of Lincoln Christian at a wide receiver, Leighton Shaquin, along with John Frink, who's a sophomore out of Logan View. Those are your receivers. Quarterback Bo Shepard, after a knee injury caused him to miss all last season, is back from Gretna High School. Nate Trombley from Lincoln Southeast will be your right halfback. Aaron Smith, the sophomore from Houma, Louisiana, will be the fullback, and left halfback will be Marcus Supercharged Spearman out of Platte City, Missouri. And your tight end is Andrew Robinson. He's from Imperial Beach, Florida. On the defensive side, you're going to have your ends, or Darion Richardson out of Belleville, Illinois. He's a senior, along with Alan Barnes from Elwood Murdoch. Your defensive tackle, nose guard, is Matt O'Neill. He's from Thousand Oaks, California. Your linebacker, Shane Lloyd, a middle linebacker from Ridgecrest, California. He's a senior. Cody Pietrowski, a junior out of Mishawaka, Indiana. The right back is going to be Jason Park from Ridgecrest, California, and the buck back is Ben Watkins from Burke High School in Omaha. He's a junior. Your safeties are Briar Burr, the junior out of Wood River, and Cody Sullivan, the junior out of Norris. So a lot of experience there. Tyler Odsley out of Prescott Valley, Arizona, is going to get a start at one of the corners, and Logan Pabin returns from Columbus Lakeview at the other corner. Watch for Greg Conry. He's going to be handling the kicking duties on special teams out of Harlan, Iowa. Cody Sullivan's your punters. We'll be back with our keys to the game after this timeout. You are listening to Bobcat Football on B103 Sports.
That sound usually means rain, which is a welcome guess, but it can also mean damaging winds and hail that can do damage.
How many more breaks do you guys need?
If your car gets caught up in a storm,
we're going to be lucky to get her all in because we had 2 minutes. We didn't get started. There was 28 minutes left on the clock, so we lost 2 minutes to the clock.
For years.
Well, we have two more breaks after this. The first quarter begins right after this break.
We'll have your car restored to its
original condition. Oh, it does. I thought there was one more.
No time.
Oh, that's because I took one
Peru
extra,
State Bobcat Football is on the air on the exclusive home of Peru State Athletics, B103, B103.FM, and on your smartphone or tablet. We send you to the gridiron for live play-by-play with the voice of Bobcat Football, Wininger Daryl Obermeyer.
Here you are in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're on.
Welcome back to the Oak Bowl, and now it's time for our keys to the game. First key to the game is, can Midland slow down the Peru State running game? Peru State number 3 in the offense last year. Midland was 67th in stopping the run. Let's see if they can slow that down. Second key to the game, can the Bobcats control the Midland passing game? Midland throws the ball about 55 to 60% of the time out of the spread offense. Cats were 70th in the nation in pass defense last year, even though they were 60th in rush defense. So that's going to be a matchup to watch. Third key to the game, who's going to fold under the pressure, the intensity of tonight's atmosphere? I mean, this place is intense, standing room only. We're going to measure that by looking at the penalties and the turnovers, but that is what we're going to be looking at, Daryl. What do you think about the keys to the game? Kind of rushed through them a little bit, but what jumped out at you?
I think what's going to be interesting is how, in some ways, these teams are fairly close. Peru State has a offensive line of 284 pounds. It's 286 pounds for Midland. Peru State, they're 6'2" in height. They're 6'3" at Midland. And in the first game of the season, Midland's had some practice. They played Mayville State, North Dakota last week, and they did have some first jitters maybe out of the way. They had 10 penalties for 70 yards last week, and they did pass 21 times, rushed 33 times. So they started out fairly well balanced with the season. But one thing I want to talk about this atmosphere in the standing room only, I just looked out our back door, and there's a line a block long yet waiting to get into the Oak Bowl.
Well, they were the 8th most penalized team in the country last year, so maybe just building on where they were last year. Oh, they're just keeping it going? Well, as we like to say, folks, that's a look at our keys to the game, and it's that time of year. The coaches are still smart. The co-eds are still beautiful, and everybody is still undefeated. It is time for the opening kickoff of Peru State College football in the new Oak Bowl. The bleachers, they've set up the temporary bleachers down in the end zone are filling up. There's a block of people, and it is just a phenomenal setting. And in a little bit of a change now, they are actually had 0 on the clock, and they're going to do the national anthem with 0 on the clock. They've never done that before. So let's go ahead and take a break and get ahead on the commercials here a little bit if we can. Let's take a 1-minute break back at the station. We'll be back with the kickoff after this timeout. You listen to Bobcat Football on B103 Sports.
No more stuck windows. No more peeling.
Yeah, you got about a minute, and we're into the first quarter breaks.
Beautiful way to accent your home. Simonton Assure comprehensive.
If you want, I can make another break for the first quarter if you need me to.
Is protected, and with advanced thermal efficiencies, you'll save a bundle on heating and cooling costs. See Simonton replacement windows at Syracuse Lumber.
Did you see who won the toss, Cheryl?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Stay tuned for the Peru State College postgame show after the game on B103.
All right, I'm just going to let this one go out, and you guys are live in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're on.
Welcome back to the Oak Bowl. We're in the last strains of our national anthem. The officials all on the field. The flag's going up. 3 flagpoles to the far side. We'll go ahead and take a break. Not a break, but we'll pause here while they finish the national anthem, as you can hear in the background. All right. National anthem, a beautiful rendition by a Peru State student. We now have the 3 flags, State of Nebraska flag on the left, the Peru State flag on the right, and the United States of America flag in the middle. Bobcats are coming out. They won the toss, deferred their decision to the second half. Bobcats in all Bobcat blue uniforms tonight. Bobcat blue pants, blue jerseys, blue helmets. Midland University comes in. They're in orange pants. They have white shirts with orange numerals and black helmets with an orange stripe down the middle. Teeing it up for the Bobcats is going to be Greg Conry, the junior from Harlan, Iowa. Greg switched to number 13 this year. I always admire a kicker that will tempt fate. He was number 53 last year. Back deep for Midland. Receiving the kick is number 80. He picks it up at the 5. He's to the 10, the 15, back to about the 17-yard line. That was Tristan Kamaka. And coming up with the tackle for the Bobcats, Jordan Staffen and Ben Watkins. So expect Midland to come out in the spread offense based on what Coach Snyder said beforehand. Quarterback should be Andrew Cameron. Andrew is out of Corona, California. Receiver split to the near side. Now in the slot is the tight end we talked about, Nathan Schluter. From Friend, a senior, a bunch of catches last year. Turn around and hand it to the single back in the set. Alex Cornish, who's out of Chula Vista. And he is knocked down by Darian Richardson. Darian Richardson, a senior out of Belleville, Illinois, 6 foot, 300-pound senior. First action for the Bobcats. 2nd down and 10, no gain on the play. Ball at the 18-yard line. Now Cameron goes back into shotgun formation. Turns around, hands the ball to Cornish, and he is up to about the 22-yard line. Gain of about 4 on the play. For the Bobcats in on the tackle, looks like it was Alex Wessels and Alan Barnes. Alan Barnes, a junior out of Elmwood Murdoch. Alex Wessels out of Weeping Water, so neighbors up there in Cass County. Looking at 3rd down and 6 as the sun sets over the Oak Bowl. We now have a different light line over on the trees, Daryl. We got some light trees and dark trees over there. Split backs. Now Cornish goes into motion. They throw it out to him in the flat, and he drops the ball. He was hit immediately by Tyler Odsley, so the blue shirt Bobcat defense forces a 3-and-out on the first possession.
Did they call that an incomplete pass, or did the ball just roll out of bounds as a pitch?
No, it was, I believe it's going to be ruled an incomplete pass.
Okay. Because it was just about directly a lateral, and I thought it was going to be a free ball.
So, back to receive will be Tyler Odsley and Logan Pabin. It's a good snap, although almost went to his knees to receive it. Driving Pabin, clear back inside the 30, touches it, drops the ball, can't find the handle on it, finally falls on it on the 23-yard line. It's a great punt by Ethan Renner. We talked about him before the game. He'll stay in now and play linebacker. He was one of the leading tacklers last year and punts and kicks.
That's a 48-yard punt. No, that'll be a
58-yard.
Yeah, and that, he had a 40-yard average last season, but started out the great season this year.
So Bo Shepard, the senior from Gretna, missed the entire 2013 season with a knee injury. Behind him, Aaron Smith, the fullback, Marcus Spearman. They're in the I formation. Turns, hands the ball to Aaron Smith, and Aaron Smith is taken down after a short gain, maybe out to the 25-yard line. Give him a gain of 2. For Midland, it looks like in on the tackle was Zach Scheel. Scheel, a freshman from Aurora, Nebraska, former Husky.
Second down and we'll call it 9 for the Cats.
So it's going to be a long 8, short 9. Ball just short of the 25-yard line. They need to get to the 33. Now they're in the veer formation. Going into motion is Trombley and Bo Shepard taken down from behind on the option. No gain on the play.
Yeah, Peru State tried to go left on that play, but just didn't have anything there deep. Midland had the speed to stay right with the Peru State blockers.
Lucas Shawang from Mountain City, Missouri. And for our friends in Richardson County, yes, we double-checked. It is Shawang in Mountain City, Missouri. Third down and 8 with the ball at the 25-yard line. Split to the near side are Frink and Gabe Hoynes, who moved from the defense over to the offensive side this year. Back to pass to Shepard. Steps up in the pocket, has some time, looks down the field, has his receiver all the way down to the 37 of Midland, and that was Leighton Shaquin. Leighton Shaquin, Daryl, just a little family trivia for you. His mother and Bo Shepard's mother are sisters.
Oh, wow.
They are first cousins. And so cousin to cousin from Bo Shepard to Leighton Shaquin. And that is a 38-yard completion down to the 37-yard line. And the Bobcats are in Midland territory. Back in the I formation. Bo Shepard under center. Calls his count, turns around, pulls the ball out, now pitches it out to Spearman. Spearman in trouble, and he's going to be run out of bounds with no gain at the 37-yard line. Running him out there was Josh Seiler out of Anaheim, California, senior linebacker. So no gain on the play. Trombley brings the play in.
Yeah, that's the second time Peru State tried to go left on a rush and got 0 on both plays.
Bobcats, first possession of the season, tied with Midland University 0-0, 11:30 remaining in the opening quarter. Midland went 3 and out on their first position. Aaron Smith has it for a short gain out down to about the 35-yard line. It'll be third down and 8 for the Cats.
He's consistent. That's 2 carries tonight for Aaron and 2 yards on both of them.
I haven't got the live stats to come up yet.
No, I can't get the stats to come up. It's coming up blank. It says they're there, but I can't get them to come up. So
coming in for the Bobcats now for the first time that we've seen him, Andrew Robinson, freshman, good-looking freshman, 6'4", 230 out of Imperial Beach, California. Single back. Hoynes in the slot to the far side. Frink split to the near side. Shaquin split wide to the far side. Back to pass to Shepard. He overthrows Gabe Hoynes on the out pattern. That would have been short of the first down anyway. And now the Bobcats are in no man's land. It looks like they're going to punt it. They're at their 35-yard line. There's not a lot of room there. But the Cats punter is coming in. That's Cody Sullivan. Cody was an all-state punter out of Norris. His dad was an All-American defensive back here at Peru State. Set a season record for interceptions for the Bobcats in their national championship season. His uncle Brian also was a receiver on that national championship team. Good snap. Punting toward the corner. And it's going to bounce into the end zone, as Blaine Meyer was the deep returner. So Midland will start first down and 10 with the ball at their own 20. And Daryl trying to get into mid-season form here with all these things. Great opening night here already. And now the Cats, each team has had a possession. And Midland has it 10:36 on their own 20-yard line.
Yeah, with each team having a possession, Midland has 0 first downs, and Peru State had a first down on that 38-yard pass completion.
Ball handed to Cornish on the inside handoff. He pops out to maybe the 23. He's taken down there by Shane Lloyd and Matt O'Neill. Gain of 2 on the play. It'll bring up second down and 8. As we mentioned in the broadcast, Midland, in the pregame, Midland was feast or famine last year. Shut out once, held to 7 twice, and then scored 61 against the Hastings Broncos. Back to pass now as Cameron finds his receiver underneath. It's going to be just short of a first down. Logan Pabin there for the tackle, along with Ben Watkins, the linebacker out of Omaha Burke. It was the receiver was Jacob Butler, junior out of Valley. It's 3rd down and 1 with the ball at the 29-yard line.
3rd down and 1. 3rd down and 1, Bobcat fans.
Huge crowd tonight. They're now standing in the end zones. And it looks like Cornish is going to be taken down short of the first down on 3rd down and 1. John Drager was in on the tackle behind the line of scrimmage.
Number 69, John Drager.
From Syracuse Dunbar Avoca High School. Former Rocket rocketed in from the back there. And a second consecutive 3 and out for Midland.
3rd down and 1 for the Warriors.
So now in will come Ethan Renner to punt. And again, Pabin, they're going to give him a little more respect this time, Daryl.
Yeah, 58-yard punt the first time out. We'll see what he does on this one.
He gets a good snap, launches another beauty, and backpedaling all the way inside the 20 is Tyler Audsley. He's back to the 25, to the 30, out to the 32-yard line. So about a 14-yard return for Tyler Audsley.
And number 34, Josh Tyler.
And so the Bobcats come out for their second possession of the season. 8:40 remaining. They start on their own 32. They started on their own 23 last time. So nobody has had great field position yet. Two wide receivers split to the near side. A wing in the veer now goes into motion. It's pitched to Tromley. He was the wing, and he's going to be taken down at no gain. Bobcats, he came from the right side, ran all the way on a reverse to the left side, was tackled there by Lane Heinert, who's a junior out of Valley. But, Daryl, not a lot of room on that left side so far for the Cats.
Yeah, that's the third try the Bobcats have made to run the left side of that offensive line, and they just haven't gotten anywhere yet.
Somebody's going to have to get a number for me on the nose guard for Midland, or on the left defensive end. He's got a ponytail that he can almost sit on. Yeah, it covers the number on the back of his jersey.
Plus, in this new press box, we're a little further away from the field than we were in the old one.
Penalty flags with the snap. Back to pass is Shepard. And taken out of bounds. I'm hoping that's going to be lined up in the neutral zone. He got about 3 or 4 on the play.
Yeah, it's offsides against Midland, I believe, is what's going to be, Doc.
Yeah, usually when you see it, when they wait to call it until after the ball's snapped, you usually see offense on offside on defense. So the Bobcats get a free 5 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 5 rather than 3rd down and 6 for the Cats.
So the Warriors line up in the neutral.
So actually the longest rushing play from scrimmage so far doesn't count because they took the penalty instead of the play.
2nd down and 5.
This setting, folks, is unbelievable. We're a lot higher than we used to be. We're almost in the 2nd floor of Delzell Hall, for those of you familiar with Peru, with this much larger stadium and press box. And the sunshine is setting over the Oak Bowl. Probably the top third of the trees still in bright sunlight, everything else in shade.
And right above the trees, we have the moon in the distance.
Gorgeous setting here. Now back to pass is Shepard. He's looking for Frink downfield. A lot of contact, no call. And defensive back Dalton Jenkins, who we talked about, who was one of the top defensive backs in the nation last year, is on the defense. It'll be 3rd down and 5 for the Cats. Joined at this time by Charlie Jansen. Charlie, a senator from Fremont, is very familiar with Midland University, has represented Fremont in the legislature for 8 years. We'll talk to him a little bit after this play. Shepard on 3rd down now, flips it out to the side to Trombley. Trombley taken down short of the first down, and Peru State will have to punt. Charlie Jansen, serving in the legislature, actually voted on the project for the funding for this Oak Bowl. First of all, welcome to Bobcat football.
Hey, thanks for having me down here. I'm happy to support the Warriors and Bobcats as I'm running for a statewide office as state auditor.
He has to support everybody, and then he'll audit how they spent the money on this particular facility.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I'll keep a very good watch on what's spent.
Cody Sullivan into punt for the Bobcats. Looking back. is the short man, Frink, and now comes the punt from Sullivan. It's a low punt, end over end, is fielded and then dropped, and falling on it inside the 10 is Blaine Meyer, the junior out of Windside, and jumping on him was Jordan Steffen. Well, you know, you saw the plans when you were in the legislature for this. You knew how enthusiastic Senator Heidemann was, but what is seeing this place in person done for you?
You know, I'm a Wayne State College graduate, and seeing this campus for the first time, actually walking on it, not just driving through it, I'm extremely impressed with it, and I'm proud of what the Nebraska taxpayers have done to promote post-secondary education in Nebraska.
Again, we're talking with Charlie Jansen, a senator from, what is 15th District?
15th District, Fremont.
My math is good. Midland comes out with the single back. They're on their own 17-yard line. Under center now. Conway goes back to pass, has a receiver down the middle, and he finds him all the way down to the 40-yard line of Midland and drops the ball. Wow, reaching in at the last minute was Tyler Audsley. No, they're going to call it a reception. They were waving off, but the reception by Chris Smith, and right up to the line of scrimmage is Midland. Shotgun formation is Cameron. Cameron turns, hands the ball to Cornish, and Cornish taken down after short game by Barnes about the 35-yard line. So, again, talking with Charlie Jansen and Senator, so you went to Wayne State, you've settled in Fremont. I know you started a business there, very successful business.
I'll let you get back to work, Doc. I think we're getting ready to snap. We played pretty fast here at Midland.
Midland, who runs out of the spread and really does run a very quick-paced offense, has gotten down. They have 2nd down and 7. Back to pass is Cameron. Drops it underneath the corners down to about the 31-yard line, where he's taken down by Pabin. So is this your first visit to the campus here at the Thousand Oaks?
It's my first walk across the campus. I've been here several times, but I've never actually walked through the campus. I'm very impressed with it. I'm impressed with both these football teams tonight. I think it's going to be a tight game. I may or may not have picked one team to win, but I'm just not going to say which one.
Talking with Charlie Jansen. Now it's going to be 3rd down and 3, ball on the 31-yard line. Calling the play, we have 4 wide receivers, 2 split to each side. And now Cornish moves to the left of Cameron in the backfield. Shotgun formation, back to pass. Here comes the blitz. He has a receiver, but he didn't have time to find him. As coming in and putting on the pressure was Ben Watkins, the junior out of Omaha Burke, as the pass falls incomplete. 4th down and 3, and I would assume the Warriors are going to go for it here. Actually, there must have been a flag on the play, as I don't see where the flag is on the field, but there is a meeting of the officials right behind the line of scrimmage. And now here comes the referee to tell us what the call was. Looks like an ineligible receiver downfield, or his head itches, one of the two. So waiting for the call. Charlie, did you get in on the barbecue at all?
Oh, yeah, I got in on the barbecue. I was with the lieutenant governor over there, with Senator Harms as well, and Senator Fulton. I saw him here tonight, so a lot of us that helped make this thing a reality at the Oak Bowl here. And the barbecue, in my opinion, and I have a pretty good opinion on barbecue, was really good. I don't know if that's the normal fare here at Peru State, but it's a little bit different than I had at Wayne State, and it's certainly different than I had when I was in the Navy.
I bet it was. And talking with Charlie Jansen, we really appreciate the support of Senator Jansen and all of the senators who supported this new Oak Bowl. Midland's going to go for it on 4th down and 3. The Bobcats turned down the penalty. It was ineligible receiver downfield. Trips to the near side. They hand the ball to Cornish underneath, and he has the 1st down to about the 27-yard line. So 1st down and 10 for Midland at the Peru State 27-yard line.
You know, as soon as they're done scoring here, I think you'll probably have to kick me out of here, because I think Peru State was doing very well before then.
It's the Jansen jinx, but we won't call it that.
No, don't call it that. Don't call it that.
But we do appreciate all the senators. We have Senator Obermeyer here, Senator Harms here, Senator Heidemann obviously here, Senator Hansen was coming tonight, Senator Fulton. Now the ball handed underneath the Cornish. He breaks free down to about the 22, all the way down to the 20 before the Bobcats bring him down. So it'll be 2nd down and about all four, let's call it, need to get to the 16-yard line. Ball at the 20. Two tight ends set. They're in the offset eye and underneath. Now Cameron turns, hands the ball to Cornish. Talked about him quite a bit. It gets maybe two right into the middle. You know, we were talking earlier, it's an interesting mix on this Midland team, Senator. When you look at, they've got 23 players from California this year, players from 16 states, but then a ton of the local kids, Valley, Logan View, places like that. Kind of an interesting mix.
Right, and I'm a Logan View graduate, and I think Ben Sass has done a great job at Midland University, obviously bringing us up in sports.
Hoping to see him tonight. There's a pitch out to Cornish. He's got the first down. He's down inside the 10, down to about the 6-yard line. Taken down by Logan Pabin. It'll be first down and goal for the Warriors. John Frank, playing for the Bobcats, also a Logan View grad.
Right.
Number 7 receiver, starting receiver for the Bobcats. Right back up to the line of scrimmage. There's a pass out to the flat, and closing quickly was Briar Burr, the junior from Wood River. On the receiver was Nate Schluter, the senior from Friend for the Warriors. Short gain up to about the 4. It'll be second down, and Midland changes personnel. 3:23 remaining in the first quarter. 9th play of the drive coming up.
Well, Doc, what's Wood River's mascot name? I know you know a few names.
They're Wood River Eagles. Under center. Handed to Cornish. He's down close to the goal line. He's going to be short. Third down and goal. Midland players were signaling touchdown, but not the side judge. Of course, Scott Frost, a famous Wood River graduate. Bobcats trying to make a personnel switch, but Midland trying to go quickly. They brought in an extra defensive tackle. Ball's inside the 1. The ball's on the ground. There's a fumble on the play. Let's see who's on it. I think Midland got back on it. I believe Cameron recovered his own fumble.
Looked like a lot of confusion on that play with personnel, Doc.
Yes, Bobcats were trying to get somebody in for an extra tackle. They gave the ball back to Midland, so it'll be fourth down and 1. And will Midland take the 3 or the 6? I go for the 6.
I think they'll go for 6. Sorry to step on you, Doc.
No, but they gave up 32 points a game last year, so 3 may not be enough. So fourth down and goal, 2:20 remaining in the first quarter. Midland started this drive on their own 18, and they're going to take a timeout. So, again, Senator Jansen, thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate it, and we appreciate your support of the Oak Bowl.
Thanks for having me here. And if Ben Sass does show up, can you ask him if he can give me a ride home? Because he didn't give me a ride down here today.
He can ride that big motor home.
Yeah, he's got a big motor home. So.
All right, thanks for coming in.
Doc. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it. All right. Now joined by Tim. Are you going to take the mic, the headset next?
I can.
All right. By Tim Bowen. Tim was on the national championship team here for the Bobcats. Tim, what years did you play here for the Cats?
I played from 1988 through 1991. 93 graduate. 92 I was a student assistant coach.
So a lot of connections to the Bobcats. Growing up down the road, I just noticed, Tim, that the clock has run throughout the entire timeout. Yes, it's still running. 33 seconds, unless Midland was letting it run to take a timeout, but I don't think so. I think they took the timeout earlier. So we'll see what they finally set the clock at. Of course, Tim, again, played for the Bobcats. He's on the Bobcat Football Booster Club, and also, I believe, is coaching still at Omaha Gross, at Gross Catholic. Is that correct?
That's correct.
He's with the Cougars of Gross Catholic High School. And, Tim, what are your first impressions of the Oak Bowl?
Just outstanding. Even back 20-plus years ago when I played here, you didn't see a more beautiful setting. Like I was saying earlier, now you're surrounded. You've got top-notch facilities along with a beautiful setting. So it's an incredible place to play football.
Midland comes up to the line. 2:17 they put back on the clock. In a tight formation, they hand the ball to Cornish. He's hit short of the goal line, drives, still driving, and he's finally in the end zone on 4th and goal. Midland strikes first. They go up 6-0. And Alex Cornish, he's a running back out of Chula Vista, California. He's 5'11", 210, and Tim, he really took about 3 or 4 efforts to finally get into the end zone.
Yeah, it was a lot of leg drive there.
Now in to attempt the extra point Looks like Dalton Jenkins. The kick is up, and it is good. Let me get a correction on that. Kicker is Darrell Green, I believe. So it's 7-0 Midland, 2:12 remaining in the first quarter. Have you been down during the construction at all, Tim, or is this the first time you've seen this?
You know, I've being I'm down here all summer, I have a little pastime of coming down here and fishing, so I make an opportunity to come over here and I put the hard hat on a couple times and snuck around the stadium. So I've been here several times.
Again, we're talking with Tim Bowen, defensive tackle, right?
Yeah, correct.
During your time with the Bobcats, defensive tackle, played in the late 80s and early 90s, played on the national championship team. And I remember the facility at Peru at that time, Tim, didn't allow us to have a playoff game after the opening round. We had the semifinals and the finals at UNO, as a matter of fact, on that national championship team.
Yeah, there was the facilities were. I always said back in my high school, which was a very small Class D high school at Johnson Brock, we had a better weight room there than we did at the college at that time. So they've come a long way. The facilities on campus and here at the stadium, tremendous efforts on everybody's part.
Comes the kick for Midland. Receiving it at about the 2-yard line is Audsley. He's out to the 10, the 15, the 20, the 25, cuts outside, and now it makes a move to about the 27 or 28-yard line. So the Cats down 7-0 will take over. 2:03 remaining here in the first quarter. What are your impressions so far of these two teams, Tim? Where do you think this game's going?
I think, it's hard to say. I don't know much about Midland. I followed Peru, obviously, last year, and I know they got some key returners back. It looks pretty stout on the lines there, it looks like to me. So there's a lot of motivation for both teams, I think, with Coach Snyder's past being with Midland and him being here at Peru now. So
Peru State on the pass. The quick hitter right down the seam, and still on his feet is Jake Coughlin. Coughlin is a freshman receiver out of Omaha, and he took that ball from the Peru State 29 all the way down to the 32-yard line. So that would be a 39-yard gain, and now there's a Midland player down on the field. Bo Shepard on play action, faked the ball to Aaron Smith in the middle, pulled up and hit Coughlin right on the run. And I'd say the last 15 yards, Jake Coughlin did on his own. Still a Midland player down on the field as the Bobcats go over. Talking with Tim Bowen. Now, Tim, when you came to Peru State, were there other places you looked, or being a Nemaha County kid, where you just, this was it?
You know, I got some letters, kind of like a lot of people do, South Dakota schools primarily, and, Peru was in my backyard, and at the time we had Coach Shea here, and Coach Shea was real persistent at recruiting me. So I took a liking to Coach Shea, and I thought he was a great motivator, and he sold me on Peru State.
Again, we have 1:53 remaining in the opening quarter. Peru State down 7-0 to Midland. We have an injury timeout on the field, so we're talking to Tim Bowen, former Peru State player here in the late 80s, early 90s. Coach Shea won the national championship at Peru, headed to, I think, Bismarck, North Dakota, and actually started the University of Mary football program in Bismarck. And the Mary Marauders went from an NAIA school now to D2.
That's correct.
And Coach Shea now is with the Fighting Peacocks of Upper Iowa University in Fayette, Iowa. And he's been a winner wherever he's gone. Talk a little bit about who were some of the other coaches that you played for here, Tim. Who were your position coaches?
We had Harold Wheeler. We had some great assistants like Rip Rebarger that formerly played here, Tony Mayer, obviously Corey Catterson and myself helped coach when we were done playing. Coach Wade, and again earlier in our career we had a lot of coaches, and then obviously after Coach Shea left, we were unfortunate that we didn't have as many coaches as we did, in the early years. But
the injured player, and this could have an impact later in the game, Ethan Renner is also the punter for Midland, who's had a couple of big punts already. They help him off the field. He is now off the field. Bobcats over the ball. Shepard fakes it, now pitches it to Spearman, and he loses the ball. It's on the turf, goes out of bounds for a loss of 2 yards. And he had faked the ball to Aaron Smith on the read, pulled it back, and Marcus Spearman just couldn't handle the pitch. So the Bobcats lose a couple. So after getting such a big gain on first down, they lose, I think, 39 yards on first down. The first play of the drive, they now lose 2. So it'll be 2nd down and 12 with the ball on the 33-yard line. In the veer formation, split to the near side, is Jake Coughlin, who had a big catch earlier. Back to pass is Shepard now, and he overthrows his intended receiver. That was intended for Josh Lawton.
For number 85, Jacob.
Actually, for Jacob Merrill, who was intended for it. It's going to be 3rd down and 12 for the Cats. So after a promising start, really kind of hit the wall. So, Tim, would have you had the edge? Would the Bobcats had the edge if you were playing in this type of facility?
Oh, definitely. We had the edge back when. Of course, I mean, the facilities are much nicer now, but just the Bobcat spirit itself. There's a passion for this team down here, and this corner of the state. They just love their Bobcats. So I think that's just an advantage in itself.
Inside screen pass from Bo Shepard to Aaron Smith, and he's all the way down inside the 20 to the 17-yard line for another first down for the Bobcats. And when Aaron Smith gets it all moving in one direction, he's fun to watch. He's from Houma, Louisiana, 5'8", 225. A physique similar to mine, I might add.
Yeah.
So we're about ready to go under a minute left here in the first quarter. Midland leads Peru State 7-0. But Peru State knocking on the door down in what I like to call the blue zone. They call it the red zone everywhere else. I call it the blue zone inside the 20-yard line. Peru State's going to take a timeout. Well, Tim, thanks for stopping by. We're going to talk to your counterpart here behind you. And thanks for all your work on the Booster Club, everything you do for the Bobcats. Really appreciate it, and appreciate you joining us.
Absolutely. Go Bobcats.
All right. Thanks, Tim. Going to talk now with Bob Bowman. Bob, also a member of the Booster Club and a former Bobcat.
They're facing a 1st down and 10.
Bob, what years did you play for the Cats?
From 80 to 83.
So 1980 to 1983. Who was the head coach? Who was coaching the Cats at that time?
Jerry Joy did my freshman through junior year, and then my senior year we got Jay Adcox in.
Okay. Talking with Bob Bowman, of course, you also contributed a son to the Bobcats.
Yeah, Neil. He just got down here a couple years ago.
Yeah, Neil Bowman, very good defensive lineman for the Bobcats. Cats coming back now on the field. They wound the clock. There's only 21 seconds left. See if the Cats are even going to run another play here in the first quarter. Shepard under center sees the play clock and the game clock differential, and he's just going to let it go. So assuming they let it run out, that will be the end of the first quarter. Into the first quarter, the score Midland 7, Peru State nothing. We'll be back with the second quarter after this timeout.
1 minute to go.
Actually, take that back. They put a minute back on the clock. We've had a little problem with the clock operators, Bob. Now, I have to say that. I don't know who the clock operator is, but my dad ran the clock here for 30 years here at Peru State. And so maybe Dad's, he died in 1989. Maybe he's playing around a little bit with the clock operator tonight.
Could be.
Now they go to 1:11. So, Dad, knock it off. We want to get this thing going. Again, talking with Bob Bowman. Bob, on the Booster Club board, you got on the Booster Club board, I believe, when Neil was playing. Is that correct?
Yeah, I did. Would have been, 3 years ago, I guess.
Also helped a lot with the post-game meals that we have on the road. Great program they have for the post-game meals.
Yeah, the parents group does a nice job with that.
Bo Shepard now keeps it himself. I think that was a broken play as he went to pitch it, and there was nobody to pitch it to. Taken down by the middle of the Midland line.
Brought down on the play by number.
So now we go under a minute to play. Cats trailing 7-0. Bob, what did you study here at Peru State?
Physical education and driver's ed.
Very good. Well, we'll keep you till the end of the first quarter and then let you go. Talking with Bob Bowman. And Bob, what's your call here? 2nd down and 9. What are you calling?
I think I'd throw like about 8-yard out.
Now there's movement on the line. Flags. They blow the play dead. Midland jumped into the neutral zone. We'll see how they're going to call that. It looked like it was option to the near side. So, outside of the Oak Bowl, what else has changed from your playing days here in the early 80s, Bob?
They've done a ton of work up on campus. I mean, they've renovated the library, about every building on campus, the cafeteria. I mean, all the dormitories, I think, have been redone except for Delzell.
And that's next on the projects, I understand. Looking at second down, it was offside on Midland, so 2nd down and about 4. Shepard runs the option to the near side. It's strung out. He pitches it to Trombley inside the 10, diving for the first down. He gets it at the 6-yard line. 23.5 seconds left here in the first quarter. Talking with Bob Bowman. Bobcat, now you're defensive or offensive lineman in the 80s for the Cats?
I played O-line. I was an offensive tackle.
6-yard line.
So when you had the alumni game and you went against your son, did you whoop him?
Not really. I tried to hold my own for 3 or 4 plays, but...
First down and goal for the Cats, knocking on the door. Clock winding down. See if they get one more play off. They do. Shepard turns, hands it to Aaron Smith. Smith taken down after a gain of maybe 1 to the 3-yard line. Well, thanks for joining us, Bob Bowman. We'll let you go here at the end of the first quarter as we're going to take a break. After 1 quarter, Peru State trailing Midland 7-0. We'll be back with the second quarter after this timeout. Listen to Bobcat Football on B103 Sports.
At Raymond James Financial Services, clear and frequent communication allows us to offer
how much of a break
sound
do you guys
advice and
need?
appropriate investments to help you attain your financial goals.
Take a
Financial
minute.
advisor
Where
David
are you on
LeGrand has
commercials?
been
You doing
serving
okay?
your community for over 33 years. Call David LeGrand today at 402-873-7477. Located in Nebraska City. To learn more about the personal service they offer to all their clients, Raymond James Financial Services, member FINRA. SIPC, life well planned.
Your home for today's best country and Peru State athletics. KBIE Auburn, Nebraska City. B103 and B103.FM.
All right, you guys are on in 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You are on.
Welcome back to Peru, Nebraska, the Oak Bowl. Peru State. That's a long field. It's listed as 3rd down and 95 to go. Going to talk now, I believe, first with Pat Mertens. We have the Mertens clan here, the first family of Peru State football, I call them. The Mertens are here. And we're going to talk first with Pat Mertens. Pat, who played here from 82 to 85, played with Bob Bowman, our last guest. 2nd down and goal just inside the 5-yard line as we start the second quarter. And, Pat, what do you think of this place?
Isn't it awesome?
Oh,
just love it.
Unbelievable. And, folks, it's hard to describe, which we've tried to, just what this facility looks like and what it's going to mean to the program. Cats come up over the ball. They're in the I formation. Trombley lined up at a wing back. Dotting the I is Spearman. Aaron Smith, the fullback, gets the handoff. He's down to the 2, the 1. Touchdown, Bobcats! Aaron Smith took it off right tackle. He was untouched. He goes in, and the Cats pulled it within 7-6.
He goes in 4 yards for the Bobcats.
So the Cats bring it back 71 yards on 10 plays after giving up the lead touchdown. And Greg Connery comes in. Marshall Klontz on the hold. The senior out of Auburn, Washington with the hold. The junior from Harlan in Iowa on the kick. The kick from Connery is up. And it is good, 7-7. Well, tonight during the course of the game, we're going to talk to various people instrumental in Bobcat football history as well as instrumental in the Oak Bowl. And Pat, I know you've been a huge supporter of the Cats. You sent 3 sons to play here, but you also have supported the facilities and the scholarship programs. Talk a little bit about what Peru State did for you, why you feel compelled to give what you have back to school.
Well, when I was a freshman here, my wife and I actually had our first son, AJ. So right away when we came here, it just felt like family. And every time we come down here, we feel like family. They treat my kids, my wife, my mom, my brothers, everybody. It's just a big second family to us. So we just love it here.
Now, what would have you thought coming here looking at these facilities? I mean, it couldn't have looked anything like this, obviously, when you came here.
No, it was the old Oak Bowl hasn't changed forever, so this is just night and day. It's going to make such a big difference to the football program. It's just, you just don't know how big of a difference it's going to make in recruiting. And
kickoff from Connery, returned it out to the 30-yard line by Tristan Kamaka. Penalty flag on the play. So Midland had the ball out to the 30. We'll see where they start after the penalty flag. So we're not quite done yet. Still looking for another couple $1 million, maybe $1.5 million might be able to finish it. But the field house, it's kind of interesting. The facility is phenomenal, but you can't overlook the fact that field house looks like early 70s mobile home that the kids are getting dressed in there.
Yes, it does. So our work's not done yet. Got a little bit more work to do.
So talking with Pat Mertens. And Pat, who goes next? Which one of the Mertens boys are you going to stick on me next?
I'll let them fight over it. I would like to do a shout-out to A.J. Had our grandson a week ago, and so he's at home. So, hi, A.J. I know you're listening.
All right, A.J., I remember playing both ways. You're talking about Tyler Audsley playing both ways. I remember A.J. playing both ways for the Bobcats. Cameron back to pass. It's a screen pass in the middle to Cornice. He's taken down after a short gain, maybe a yard. In on the tackle there was Shane Lloyd. Also in for the Bobcats, I believe, Elijah Hawkins. But I remember A.J., that was when I first started with the Bobcats, and I remember A.J. was all over the field, both positions. He was the oldest of the 3. Then came Mike, the number 2 rusher, I still believe, in Peru State history.
Yep.
And then Jake came along, had a great career on the defensive side of the ball. 2nd down and 8. Ball in the 21-yard line. 14-14 remaining in the opening half. Peru State and Midland knotted at 7. Cornice gets it on the inside handoff up to about the 25-yard line. It's going to be 3rd down and about 4. Tackled there by Alex Wessels and Shane Lloyd out of Ridgecrest, California. Well, thanks for all you do, Pat, and for everything you do for Peru State, for the boosters. Appreciate your support. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, and thanks for everything you do, Doc.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. 3rd down and 5. Shotgun formation, split backs on either side of Cameron. Cameron now back to pass, has a receiver, overthrows him, and the Cats force another 3 and out. So Midland, who started that drive on their own 19, is going to have 4th down and 5 from the 24. And let's see who's in the punt. They have a new punter in because Renner was hurt earlier. Trying to get a number on the punter, Daryl. I believe that's Anthony Wood, number 15. So 3 and out for Midland. And Audsley and Pabin will be back. Here comes the punt. Not a bad punt from a backup punter. And Pabin makes the fair catch signal. Took a couple steps. I'm glad it wasn't a delay of game call there. So joining us now, Mike Mertens. Mike played here from 2004 to 2007. And, Mike, I understand you're working in strength and conditioning for somebody now. Oh, no, Jake's doing that. Okay, Mike, tell us what you're doing now.
I'm working for a manufacturing company. I'm a scheduler. So pretty much what I do is schedule production, shipment, and put out a bunch of fires, a bunch of busy work, all that fun.
That sounds exciting there, the way you make that sound there, Mike.
It is. If you followed me for a day, you'd you'd find out a lot of things that you might not know, and yeah, it's interesting to say the least. Very interesting.
Aaron Smith gets it on first down up the middle, gain of a couple. Talking with Mike Mertens, running back here, and Mike, if my stats are correct, you were the number 2 rusher in all time here at Peru State. Is that correct?
That's what it is. So yes,
all right.
Had a great O-line, kind of like they have out tonight. They look really good. So it's exciting to see the team.
So when you watch a game, are you watching that O-line play, Mike? Is that what you're looking for?
Yes, I do. I mean, I love watching the line work. I mean, that's pretty much what you do as a running back. You feed off them. They're the real, they're unsung heroes and do a lot of dirty work, and they're great guys.
Bo Shepard on play action fakes it in the middle and then has the pass batted down, so it's going to be 3rd down and about 10. They need to get right. Actually, 3rd down and 9. They're at the 41. They need to get right to the midfield stripe. So what were your thoughts when you first saw this place, Mike?
Unbelievable. I mean, there's really no words to describe it. There's a lot of people that were a part of it. I just want to say thanks. It was done right. I mean, it's exactly what it was supposed to be and more. I mean, if you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor. Come out to the Oak Bowl.
Bo Shepard floating to the left, shoots a pass for Leighton Shaquin, and it is incomplete. It'll be 4th down and 9, and Cody Sullivan in to punt for the Bobcats. Back deep, it looks like for Midland will be Dalton Jenkins, the defensive back.
Jenkins back deep for the Warriors. Awaiting the punt from Cody Sullivan.
Here comes the snap to Sullivan. A low punt. Jenkins has it at about the 20-yard line, makes a move to the outside to the 25, and is going to be taken down hard. Get a number on that truck. That was Shane Lloyd out of Ridgecrest, California. Well, Mike, I'd like to thank you for stopping by, everything you do. You have any message for some future Bobcats listening out there?
Just check it out. Come down to the Oak Bowl, check it out. If you come down here, see it and meet the people, you'll love it. So.
All right. Well, thank you so much for stopping by. We're going to talk to Jake Mertens a little bit now. Midland will take over. 1st down and 10. 12:22 remaining in the second quarter. Game tied at their own 26. It's 7-7. Back to pass. This Cameron batted down at the line of scrimmage. That was John Drager, the sophomore, or the junior out of Syracuse Dunbar-Avoca, preseason All-American. Now talking with Jake Mertens, who played here from 08 to 11. So you're the one that's doing the strength training now, Jake.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Tell me about what you're doing now.
I'm working with the Nebraska basketball team. With a little bit of time that I have, taking some classes too at UNL. So going and helping the Huskers out there.
So I'll be seeing you this fall and winter.
Yeah,
I'm the PA voice for Husker basketball. Mm-hmm. So I'll be seeing you at Pinnacle Bank Arena then this winter.
A little bit, and I'm pretty sure with all the work we've done with him, you'd be satisfied with the effort and everything our guys have been doing this offseason.
Can't wait to see him. Cornish gets taken down behind the line of scrimmage, went to the right, cut back to the left, and I believe that was Ben Watkins along with Shane Lloyd. So what were you studying at Peru State, Jake, that you ended up working with the Huskers in basketball?
Exercise science. Did that. I did a bunch of internships and stuff when I was here at school, and I was able to get my master's in the same thing. So I have background in that, and then that way when I was able to come back here, I was able to go work with Coach Wilson and the staff there.
Talking with Jake Mertens, who was a St. Cecilia Blue Hawk and then came down and played at Peru State. Passes complete on 3rd and 11, and they're going to give him the sticks, I believe. That was complete to Cale Walker, who we talked last year averaged 44.5 yards a catch. He only had 4, but that was a lot of production, 44.5 yards a catch. Talking with Jake. Now, Jake, you were the fastest of the 3 boys, right? You could outrun these guys all day.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I was the youngest brother. I had to be the fastest, too. You had to be.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about Jake, when you think about your memories of playing here at Peru State, tell me what comes to mind of your time in the Oak Bowl, the old Oak Bowl.
Just the atmosphere. I still loved it, even though it's a great one here tonight. Just the way the fans were, and I still think they're the greatest fans in Nebraska, regardless if you're rooting for the Huskers or not. I still think the Bobcat fans are the best ones out there, and that's just always going to be my number one memory.
First down and 10. They hand the ball to Cornish, and he is taken back by John Drager for a 5-yard loss back to the 31-yard line. Actually was dumped down about the 25, but the forward progress stopped at the 31. It's second down and 15. Now, the Cats had him in third and long a little bit ago, third and 11, and took their foot off their throats. Let them get the first down on third and 11. Now they're back at second down and 15, ball at the 31. It looks like Midland's going to take a timeout here. I'd like to thank the first family of Peru State football, the Mertens, and say hi to AJ. Jake, any message you have for the Peru State fans that are listening tonight?
Just come out here. If you're not here, check it out. This facility is phenomenal. You might have missed it today, but there's plenty more home games to come out here and enjoy it.
All right. Well, we are going to take a 30-second timeout. Again, thanks to all the Mertens for stopping by. We'll take a 30-second timeout. We'll be back after this timeout. You're listening to Bobcat Football on B103 Sports.
Hello, I'm Wayne Lepka, Service Manager at Steadite Implement Company, your John Deere dealer in Syracuse. On behalf of myself and Sarah and Auburn, crops are in the ground, and yes, they are growing. If you haven't looked at your harvesting equipment, now is the time to do so. Harvest will be here before we know it. Don't let unnecessary downtime keep you from harvesting. Schedule your equipment inspections or repairs today. Call Wayne in Syracuse or Sarah in Auburn and take advantage of our no interest, no payment, or 5% cash discount. Why settle for less when you can have the best? Steadite Implement, your John Deere dealer in Southeast Nebraska.
Back to more Bobcat football on today's.
All right, guys, you are on in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you're on.
Welcome back to the Oak Bowl in Peru, Nebraska. Doc Wininger, the voice of the Bobcats here with Daryl Obermeyer. Midland has the ball, second down and 15, 10:31 remaining in the second quarter. They're at their own 31-yard line, and now another penalty flag. And it's another delay of game, and you really can't enjoy having a delay of game coming out of a timeout. Not a good thing. We now are joined by former Senator Tony Fulton, native of Auburn, represented Lincoln in the legislature. Senator Fulton was involved in getting the funding for this facility. And first of all, Tony, welcome to Bobcat football.
What a great scene. What a great scene in southeast Nebraska. It's just it's been a while since I've been back here, and being able to see it as it is now, unbelievable.
Second down and 20. Cameron hands the ball on a draw, hoping to catch the Bobcats off guard. He did not. The Bobcat inside a line waiting for him there. Gain of about 1 or 2 on the play. And Alex Wessels was there along with Big Matt O'Neill from. Now, Matt O'Neill is from Thousand Oaks, California. Is there a better place to be from than Thousand Oaks, here on the campus of Thousand Oaks? Talk with Tony Fulton. And Tony, when Levon Heidemann told you he wanted to get the funding for this, what was your reaction?
Well, I'm from here, so I know that there was quite a need for some time, but there's always a political fight whenever there's funding wanted. And when he brought it up, I said, well, Levon, let's fight this out.
Back to pass, and now running out of bounds. Great coverage by the Bobcat defense downfield. Maybe a gain of a yard or 2. Might even be a loss. Not much. It's going to be third down and about 20 to go. So they did lose a couple on there. But, it was actually it's going to be fourth down and 20. So back to punt will be Anthony Wood, and the Bobcats will have Tyler Audsley and Logan Pabin. Now, you came over to games here, I'm sure, as a kid, and you have some memories of the Oak Bowl from when you were younger.
I'll tell you, the best memories I have from the 1990 team that won that national championship, Doc.
We were talking about that with Tim Bowen, who was on that team, as Logan Pabin fields it at the 35, back to the 40, the 45, the 50, down at the 46. Great return by Logan Pabin. Peru State takes over 9:34 remaining in the second quarter in Midland territory. First possession, but 10 possessions in the game, and the first one that has started in an opponent's territory. We were talking with Tim Bowen, and they were only able to host one first-round game and had to go to UNO because the facility was so bad the NAIA would not let them host games there at that time.
True statement. That's a national championship. I was a freshman in college at the university. I had a lot of football players who lived on my floor, and all of those Husker football players came back to root for the Bobcats, and what a great memory. What a great tradition.
Bo Shepard trips on the option, no gain. You know, Tony, another memory I have about that is Peru State had no turf shoes, and they'd never played a game on artificial turf. And so the Huskers had switched from Converse that year to Adidas, and they had an entire storeroom full of Converse shoes that were white with red stars and stripes. And so the Bobcats wore their silver and blue with their red and white Cons that the Huskers had donated to them for those last few games.
Bobcats baptized those Husker shoes and made them Bobcat shoes.
Well, and the Huskers won a national championship 2 years later.
It's
so
in the shoes.
Go figure. Second down, and Tyler Audsley in at quarterback. This time, the throw out to Bo Shepard, the receiver. So a little trickery by the old wise one, Steve Schneider, as he moves his quarterback to receiver and brings Tyler Audsley in. Tyler Audsley plays on both sides of the ball. He was a defensive back, Tony, who last year stepped in at quarterback when Bo Shepard blew his knee. First game, rushed for 230 yards at quarterback, 4 touchdowns after 4 days of practice. So great athlete. It's now 3rd down and 6 for the Cats. Ball at the 42-yard line. Audsley keeps it himself. He's got the first down and more inside the 30. It's going to be taken down right at the 30-yard line. Nifty little run by the backup quarterback, Tyler Audsley. Okay, we're talking with former state senator Tony Fulton. Tony, you're also involved in a business venture down here on the board. Tell us a little bit about how that's going over in Johnson County.
Well, it's in Elk Creek, Nebraska. There's a rare mineral mined only in a couple places on planet Earth. As it turns out, there's a great deal of this rare mineral under Elk Creek, Nebraska, and we're talking tens of billions of dollars. Southeast Nebraska has a lot of exciting things going on right now, Doc.
Audsley fakes the handoff to Shepard, keeps himself inside the 30, gain of about 2 or 3, where he's wrapped up. It'll be 2nd down and about 8 to go. Well, a lot of people, the senators, when they voted on this, only saw it, only saw pictures, only heard things. You knew what the true condition was.
Yeah.
Did you have a chance to help work that on the floor with Senator Heidemann?
Yeah, it got to this point where it became obvious that this is a responsibility of the state. And I remember the debate we had in the Appropriations Committee. Really, we have reasonable people in the Nebraska unicameral, unlike maybe in Washington. But this was one where the need was obvious. We had the money, and indeed this was a responsibility of government. And it's just so gratifying to see this wonderful facility now serving a number of Nebraskans as it should.
Ball handed to Eric Morrison-Smith. He's a running back out of San Diego, California. Gets his first carry as a Bobcat. Gets it down to about the 24-yard line. Looks like it's going to be about 3rd down and 4. But we certainly appreciate everything you did in the legislature to help this. You were recruited to play linebacker for Peru State, is that right?
Oh, yeah. Well, I've still got my eligibility, too. So,
yeah, I'm
40-some years old. I've got 4 years to give to the Bobcats here, Doc. Let's get on it.
I'll tell you a recruiting story here in a minute. 3rd down and 4. Oh, the fumble on the ground, and it looks like Midland says they have it. The ball was carried by Morrison-Smith, and Midland gets it, the first turnover of the year for the Bobcats. So they will take over 1st down and 10. The Bobcat drive stalls at the 22-yard line. Yeah, I used to joke that I was the target of a very heated recruiting battle between Peru State and Nebraska Wesleyan. Peru State wanted me to go to Nebraska Wesleyan, and Nebraska Wesleyan wanted me to go to Peru State.
You're a man that attracts a lot of attention, sir.
Apparently. So Midland takes over 1st down and 10 on their own 18-yard line. The Bobcats ran off 7 plays, moved it from the 46 to the 18, but lose it to the fumble. So Midland takes over deep in their own territory. Cameron pitches it out across the 20 out to about the 25-yard line. Coming up from the defensive backfield making the tackle was Tyler Audsley. Well, again, thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for all your support, and it's a great day to be a Bobcat.
Go Bobcats. What a great experience. I'm pleased to be a part of this, and I hope a lot of folks will come down here and check out this wonderful facility in Peru, Nebraska.
All right. Thank you so much. That's former Senator Tony Fulton, the Auburn native, Lincoln resident, and the Niobium Prince. That's right. Joining us now, Justin Fulton. Justin, we'll get to his biography here in a little bit. 2nd down and 3, ball at the 25-yard line. And the ball is on the ground again, and did the Bobcats get it back? They said they did. The Bobcats got it back 2 plays later. On the ball was Alex Russell, the linebacker. And so back-to-back fumbles. And what a night. 7-7, 5:57 remaining in the second quarter, and the Bobcats will take over. Talking with Justin Fulton, also a Nemaha County native. Justin, welcome to Bobcat football.
Thank you very much, Doc. I'll be happy to take credit for that fumble. You get rid of Tony Fulton, and Justin Fulton comes in and gets the Bobcats the football back.
You know, I've always thought the younger brothers were a lot more talented, being the youngest of four. Bobcats now, Shepard back in, hands the ball to Aaron Smith, gets maybe a yard. Justin, talk a little bit about growing up in Auburn, your memories of coming over here to the Oak Bowl.
I would have to go back to that 1990 team as well. Just some of the athletes, the Nate Bradleys, Corny Riley, Corey Catterson, Scott Gertis. And for a little 9-year-old kid from Auburn to see those guys and shake those hands was just something else. And trying to play a little bit of schoolyard football at Calvert and Sheridan after those guys was quite amazing.
Now, Justin, were you one of those kids that played in the end zone during the game? Oh, yeah, that was a great tradition. Shepard keeps it now, pitches to Trombley, who gets down to about the 20-yard line, gain of about 4.
One of those kids that would be sore for a couple days afterwards, too, I think.
Well, it's interesting because if you look tonight, the end zones are full of people. We tripled the capacity, basically, of the stadium, and there are so many people here tonight. It'll be interesting to hear a crowd estimate, but the end zones are full of people sitting. There's bleachers in the north end zone, people sitting in the south end zone. Does not look like there's many seats available, although, they could have squeezed together maybe a little more closely, but great crowd here tonight. Now, is this the first time you've been able to get over and see the Oak Bowl?
Well, it's been a few years. I've been in seminary for the past 4.5 years, going on 5 years. So this is the first time in a long while. Looks like we got a timeout coming up.
Yep, we'll be back with more Justin Fulton. We're going to take a 30-second timeout. You're listening to Bobcat Football on B103 Sports.
Are you or someone you care for downsizing or moving to town but need affordable housing? Prairie Hill Senior Townhomes in Syracuse could be your home. 2-bed, 1 bath, covered porch, and attached garage, all on one level. Appliances, including stackable washer dryer, provided. Best of all, maintenance, lawn care, and snow removal are done for you. Ask about 19 and up one-bid housing at Westview Manor Apartments. Contact Syracuse Housing Authority for income qualifications. They offer equal housing opportunity.
Now back to Doc and Daryl on the gridiron. For
you
more
are in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You are on.
Reset the scene. 3rd down and 7 for the Bobcats. 4:46 remaining in the second quarter, 7-7. Ball is at the Midland 21. Shepard back to pass, and his receiver fell down. That's Gabe Hoynes, the junior from Papillion La Vista, or sophomore, from Papillion La Vista High School. So 4th down and 7, and we're going to see Greg Connery will come in and attempt what is about a 38-yard field goal. Talking with Justin Fulton. Justin in seminary, I believe, in Philadelphia. Is that correct?
That's correct. Actually, I'll be catching a flight tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. to fly back to Philadelphia for seminary.
Appreciate you joining us. Hang around here for a little bit. Got a couple of questions for you. Marshall Klontz is the holder. Alan Barnes, the snapper. The kick from Connery is long enough, and it's wide right. So it stays at 7-7, 4:38. Now, Justin, I understand you know a recent Bobcat who also is in seminary to become a priest.
That's right. Cody Wallinger was from Odell, Nebraska. He was a wide receiver here for the Bobcats, and he's studying, as am I, to be a priest in the Roman Catholic Church. And he's actually out at Emmitsburg, Maryland, just out of Washington, D.C. He's in his first theology year there, and God willing, he'll have another 3 years before he's ordained a deacon and then a priest. So it really goes to the testament of what this college is all about. This college builds the backbone of the state. These kids are our teachers of tomorrow in Class C1, Class B. They are our business producers, criminal justice majors.
A 1st down and 10. Cameron pitches it out to his running back.
And maybe Cody someday will be a priest. But, I mean, most of these kids from Peru State, they stay in the state. Creighton does a great job. UNL does a great job. A lot of those kids move away, but these Peru State kids, they are the backbone, along with agriculture, of our state.
1 yard gain by Alex Cornish brings up 2nd down and 9. Ball at the 22-yard line. Again, shotgun formation in the spread. 5 receivers in the pattern, and the ball is thrown near nobody. 3rd down and 9. Again, talking with Justin Fulton. And so, Justin, you're just back. You're done with your schoolwork, though. Is that correct?
Well, I've actually got one more year. I came back to help with a wedding last night in Omaha, and then watched the Husker game with my sister today. Came down to Nemaha County this afternoon, caught a little bit of this game, and then I'll be taking off tomorrow. And I'll be finished in May and then be back in Nebraska for the rest of my life. Thank goodness.
And I can tell you, based on the emails, that Justin listens to our broadcast back in Philadelphia online. Back to pass and under pressure, almost picked off by Briar Burr. Putting the pressure on Cameron was Jason Park. And Midland's going to have to punt. Well, thank you so much for stopping by. Appreciate your listening when you're in Philadelphia.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you, guys.
All right, Justin Fulton, Nemaha County native. Thank you again. So fourth down and 9 for the Cats, or for the Warriors, 4:01 remaining. Anthony Wood back to punt. And Daryl, you're not quite seeing the 60-yard punts here that you saw earlier. It's not a bad punt, though. Look at that. That's the backup punter. It drives Audsley all the way back to the 30, makes the first guy miss, cuts up to the 35 to the 37-yard line.
Audsley on the return.
And it's taken down there by Blaine Meyer. So Peru State, 7-7, 3:50 remaining in the first quarter.
Yeah, Doc, the women's cross-country team had their first meet of the year at Northwest Missouri State yesterday. Coach Billings was pleased with the results of the first meet of the year. And Saturday, September 20th, they'll be in Lincoln for the Woody Greeno Invitational.
I had classes from Woody Greeno. He was quite a character. First down and 10 now. Bo Shepard at quarterback. Takes it on the option out to about the 40 or 41. They're going to spot it at the 41, gain of 4 yards. So, Daryl, welcome back to the broadcast. I've been interviewing people since about halfway through the first quarter.
Yeah, it's been a while. You know, we're having to keep our own stats. There's little first-game jitters here at this new press box, and so I've still been here, even though you haven't heard from me. And I have actually Bo Shepard. I have him for 3 completions out of 8 attempts, and I have him for 8 yards rushing.
Hooked up on the long one with his cousin, young Mr. Shaquin. Leighton Shaquin, and this time on the option, Bobcats get almost nothing. Aaron Smith taken down, no gain. It'll be 3rd down and 6.
That's the 6th carry is what I have for Aaron Smith. His longest was a 14-yard run earlier in the game.
Eric Terrace, a senior out of Tampa, Florida, on the tackle.
I just thought that was interesting. I wasn't color things here, but 3 different times the first quarter was over.
Yeah. A little bit of gremlins in this first game in the Oak Bowl, including us on the pregame. Bo Shepard keeps himself. He's got the first down out to about the 48-yard line. Got it by maybe a yard.
Yeah,
that driven back there by Christian Pelusian.
Yeah, that was the right side of the line. Peru State just hasn't been able to penetrate the left side of their offensive line against Midland, but they went to the right side and was able to make that first down. I have it first down number 6 for Peru State this evening.
Of course, the right side, is also where All-American Tyler Ford is, so never a bad idea to run behind him. Spearman comes in motion to the near side. They give the ball to Smith on a quick hitter. He's taken down after no gain, and that quick hitter on the veer, similar to the wishbone as we go into 2 minutes here in the first half. It seems like you either pop it for a big gain, you get a lot of little 1-yard gains, and all of a sudden there it is for about 15 or 20 yards. But that was one of the 1-yard gains. 2nd down and 9 for the Cats. Split to the far side is Jake Coughlin. To the near side is John Frank, and Shepard back to pass. Actually, he's looking for Leighton Shaquin, and he has him down the sideline, but he's out of bounds. He was actually shoved out of bounds. I thought the ball was in the air, but good defensive coverage.
Yeah, we don't have a big screen here to watch the replay. That's the one thing they missed out on, Doc, was not giving us a big screen for replays.
I think that's one of the things they'd like to raise some money for. 3rd down and 9. Leighton Shaquin split to the near side. To the far side is Jacob Merrill and Jake Coughlin, all 3 freshmen. Receivers, back to pass is Shepard. Steps up in the pocket, gets hit right as he was delivering the ball. And the Bobcats are going to have to punt again. That was going to be intended for Jacob Merrill.
Yeah, the Peru State cheerleaders are actually expanding. They have an assistant coach this year, Heather Pemberton, the former Heather Heskett, right from a neighbor down the road, now assistant coach for them. They're going to start competing in the HAC in cheerleading competition.
Back to punt is Cody Sullivan. 4th down and 9, the ball in their own 49-yard line. Good snap from Barnes. High punt this time. Coming down short, out of bounds. I don't think he got a lot of yardage on that. He's still coming up, the official, to the 35, so only a 16-yard punt.
Looks like he was rushed. In fact, I thought he was, I don't know how he didn't get hit by the defender.
So Midland gets their 8th possession of the game with 1:19 remaining. And they will start 1st and 10 on their own 35. A turnover apiece. Not much in the way of penalties. Pretty clean game for the first game for the Bobcats. And now Midland goes with 2 receivers to the far side. They're going right to left or south to north. Spread everybody out and hand the ball in the middle. It goes nowhere. Matt O'Neill at the bottom of the pile along with Jason Park.
I have Matt O'Neill for 3 tackles that night. Shane Lloyd I have with 5 to lead the Bobcats in unofficial stats. This is the second straight night I watched the Warriors. Last night we're at the Auburn Bulldogs hosted the Lincoln Lutheran Warriors.
Under a minute to go in the second quarter. Midland now runs option. There's some room on the outside to run, and he's got a first down. That was Cornish. He took it out. It was finally upended by Briar Burr out at about the 48-yard line. So it's 44 seconds, and Midland gets actually Cody Sullivan they gave the tackle to.
They have Cody for 3 tackles tonight.
Cornish gets it off tackle, and nothing there. So it looks like Midland and Peru are going to be happy to play this to a draw at halftime.
Oh, they stopped the clock.
Midland took their final timeout.
I thought maybe they're just going to let the clock run out, but
we'll take a 30-second timeout with them. 7-7, 25 seconds left in the half. You're listening to Bobcat Football on B103 Sports.
Vanderveen and Garacki is proud to be celebrating their 15th year of business, serving Nebraska City, Plattsmouth, and the surrounding communities.
Doing great, guys.
Vanderveen and Garacki realize the importance of a strong community and know they
can we actually are doing pretty good. We have another one until halftime, so
you with sound tax and accounting solutions. It has been their pleasure to work.
Is that going to work for you?
And they look forward to serving your needs.
All right, cool.
15 years and beyond. A sincere thank you from Vanderveen and Garacki, where everything adds up.
Bobcat Football.
Alrighty, guys, you are on in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you are on.
Welcome back to the Oak Bowl. Doc Wininger, Daryl Obermeyer. 25.3 seconds left. Midland takes their final timeout. Although it still says they have 2 on the board. The PA announcer announced it was their final timeout. Back to pass now is Cameron with the receiver down the middle and broken up nicely.
No, intercepted by Odsley.
Intercepted by Tyler Odsley. My goodness, that was an athletic play. He went up high and I thought batted it down, and he actually caught the ball at the 26-yard line.
One of the back judges ran up and said incomplete, but the official right on the play called it an interception.
We did not get to see Tyler Odsley on defense last year because he played offense all year, and he's something special, Daryl, on either side of the ball.
Well, with the exception of late in the game against Benedictine. He played both ways and actually played some defense late in the game.
That's right, when the Bobcats kept giving up yards in chunks that day. First down and 10, ball at the 27. I imagine the Cats are just going to run. They get the ball to start the second half. And nope, back to pass is Shepard looking for Leighton Shaquin. A lot of contact, but 13.8 seconds remaining in the first half. Lane Heinert has drawn the defensive assignment on Leighton Shaquin. He's a junior out of Valley.
Yeah, I think you would have to go back to maybe the playoff game in 1989 against Baker to have this many people here. Or I don't even know if there were that many people here that day, but a fantastic crowd here at the Oak Bowl.
Second down, ball given to Aaron Smith. He's out to about the 30. Gain of maybe 3 on the play. He never does go down. Yeah, there were 6 Midland Warriors who were trying to get him down. They never did get him down, but they did get him stopped.
All they could do is just push him backwards.
We get to halftime. Your score, Peru State 7, Midland 7. We'll be back with our halftime after this timeout. You are listening to Bobcat Football on B103 Sports.
Are you or someone you care for downsizing?
How much of a break do you guys want?
Town, but need affordable housing?
What do you do, a minute here?
Prairie Hill Senior Townhomes in Syracuse
fine? All right.
could be your home. 2 bed,
my goodness.
1 bath, covered porch,
minute
and attached
halftime.
garage, all on one level. Appliances, including stackable
You
washers.
can fit that all in?
provided. Best
And
of all,
we have
maintenance,
no- yeah, it's
lawn
usually
care, and
15
snow
minutes.
removal are done for you.
Or 20.
Ask about
It's usually
19
20.
up, 1-bid housing at Westview Manor Apartments.
So, how
Contact
do you want to fill
Syracuse
the
Housing
halftime?
Authority for income qualifications.
Well, we've
They
got-
offer an equal housing opportunity.
Welcome to the Peru State College Halftime Show on today's Best
Cut
Country
you guys off, but you are
103.
on in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and off you go.
Welcome back to the Oak Bowl. Peru State and Midland University in the first game in the historic New Oak Bowl. That sounds kind of funny, doesn't it, Daryl? The historic New Oak Bowl.
Yes, it does.
They've been playing football here since 1901, and actually they went into the archives and they found a picture from 1885 of a Peru State football game. It's really funny because they're all in suits and hats. The guys that are playing have ties on and vests and hats, but 1885 was the first game played, but then they didn't field a team again until 1900. Now, they played in 1900. Who was the first game against, Daryl?
In 1900?
1900.
I imagine a high school around here, maybe.
Nebraska City.
Oh, okay.
They played in Nebraska City. Their first game on this facility was Thanksgiving Day, 1901, when they beat Fall City 17-0. Well, anyway, we're here at the Oak Bowl tonight because it's Midland University, orange and black, just like the Fall City Tigers would have been.
Right.
Well, I don't know if they were in 1901. But you're here with Midland University and Peru State. Midland got the opening kickoff, went 3 and out. Bobcats got it, had to punt the ball back. The first score in the game finally came on Midland's third possession when they went 82 yards on 11 plays. It was a 1-yard run by Alex Cornish, and then the kick extra point by Anthony Wood with 2:12 remaining in the first quarter. It was Midland 7, Peru nothing, and that's how the first quarter ended. The Bobcats got on the board, though, on the first play of the second quarter when Aaron Smith went in from 4 yards out. 14:56 remaining in the first half. Greg Conry then tacked on the extra point. It was 7-7 at that point. After that point, there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 possessions between the two teams, 4 possessions each, and nobody really got close. Peru State did get it inside the 25. They fumbled the ball. Midland fumbled it back 2 plays later, but the Bobcats would miss a 38-yard field goal that would have given them the 10-7 lead. So we go to the halftime. It is Peru State 7, Midland 7. We'll be back with more after this timeout. You're listening to Bobcat Football on B103 Sports.
At Raymond James Financial Services, clear and frequent communication allows us to offer
you just want another minute break?
appropriate investments to help you attain your financial goals. Financial advisor David LeGrand has been serving your community for over 33 years.
Would you guys just like another minute?
LeGrand today at 402-873-7477. Located in Nebraska City. To learn more about the personal service they offer to all their clients. Raymond James Financial Services, member FINRA. SIPC, life well planned.
We'll do the Bobcat player profile.
Follow B103 on Facebook and Twitter for live scores and
all right, guys,
of the Peru
cut you
State
off.
Bobcats.
You are on in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You are on.
Welcome back to the Oak Bowl. We are awaiting our halftime statistics, so we are going to take things a little bit out of order here and talking with the real Gio. By the way, Gio, welcome to Bobcat football.
Thank you very much, Doc. It's a pleasure to be here with you and Daryl tonight. I always enjoy working with you guys, and I'll tell you what, I am really impressed. I am super impressed with the brand new Oak Bowl here in southeast Nebraska. What a beautiful facility. What a great job they've done on this.
The ugly duckling has turned into a swan.
It certainly has, and I tell you what, I've been taking photos. We've been putting stuff up on our Twitter page tonight on B103_FM. I'll tell you what, I took a picture of the crowd out here. It is a capacity crowd here. I mean, there is a lot of excitement down here in southeast Nebraska.
Again, we're talking with the real Gio, and last time Gio was here was the final game of the Oak Bowl.
Final game.
October 20th of 2012. And the Bobcats last year played all 11 games on the road.
Yes, they
did.
Home
games, they had 6 home games, 2 in Nebraska City, 2 in Auburn, and 2 in Falls City. But they did not play here in the Oak Bowl.
That's right.
The last time Gio was here, the place was falling down.
It was.
The weeds were up, but the Bobcats looked good in that final game.
They did.
When they beat the Eagles of Central Methodist 40-23. Tonight, again, halftime 7-7 with Midland. Talking with the real Gio, and Gio, happy that the management allowed you to come join us. It's been great to have a producer in the booth with us.
Absolutely.
You have a special report for us tonight, I understand.
Yes, I do, as a matter of fact. And, one parting shot, though, I want to give tonight. I'm surprised that we haven't seen Mr. Bobcat himself yet tonight.
He'll be here. He will make an appearance.
Yes, he will. Okay, thank you very much, Doc and Daryl. And that's right, it is halftime here at the new Oak Bowl in southeast Nebraska. Our score at halftime is 7-7. About 20 minutes left to go here on the clock. Here we are enjoying halftime festivities down on the field, and the brand new Oak Bowl is a buzz. And speaking of buzz, let's do the Bobcat buzz for this week. Well, covering the current events from the beautiful hills of Peru State College, I am your host, the real Gio, and this is the Bobcat Buzz. The big buzz this week is, of course, the reopening of the historic Oak Bowl for the 2014 football season. 2 years in the making, the much-needed facelift has transformed the 100-year-old facility into a focal point for the college. This gorgeous state-of-the-art facility now features increased accessibility, a new field turf playing surface, new press box with top-notch VIP amenities, while still maintaining the natural charm for which the campus of 1,000 Oaks is known. It has been described as one of the most scenic football venues around it and is sure to become a central attraction for the school, community, and the region. The campus is also buzzing with one of the largest freshman classes in recent years. The strength of this incoming class is measured not only by its size, but in the degree of involvement in campus life they have already known. We welcome the newest members of the Bobcat family and look toward the energy they will bring with them in the coming years. On the arts scene, casting has been completed and rehearsals have begun for the drama department's main stage productions this coming fall. Director Josh Young has selected 2 challenging but very different productions. The Peru State Theater Company will present the Vagina Monologues on October 2nd through 4th at 7:30 p.m. and Sunday, October 5th at 2 p.m. in the College Theater. Written by Eve Ensler in 1996 and featuring an all-female cast, this work is set as a series of commentaries on the social and personal issues facing women in modern society. Following in November 20th through the 22nd at 7:30 p.m. and Sunday, November 23rd at 2 p.m., the company will present the classic drama 12 Angry Jurors, in the Gendra Fine Arts Black Box Theater. The drama depicts a jury forced to consider a homicide trial. Written by Reginald Rose in 1965, the plot deals with the grave decisions faced in the criminal justice process and the larger issues of the individual standing up for moral principles in the face of intense pressure. Doors will open 30 minutes prior to each performance, and $10 general admission, $5 for seniors and children under 12. PSC faculty, staff, and students are free. Donations, of course, are always welcomed and appreciated. Looking at more information for the Bobcat Buzz here on today's Best Country B103 and our broadcast of Bobcat football. Our score at halftime is 7-7, the Bobcats and the Warriors. Continuing on with the Bobcat Buzz, in the music department, students are preparing for the first student recital of the year on Thursday, September 11th at 11 a.m. in the Gendra Fine Arts Recital Hall. This is a free event open to the public and features performers from the voice and instrumental music studios at Peru State College. This popular recital series is presented twice a month. Please check our website for dates and programming. Other events in the department this week include pianist Jeremy Rudder in a junior recital featuring the music of Bach, Chopin, Schumann, and Kennan. The performance takes place in the Gindra Fine Arts Building on Tuesday, September 9th at 5:50 p.m. Again, that's Tuesday, September 9th at 5:50 p.m. On a sad note, the music department and the entire Peru State campus mourns the loss of our beloved Thomas Ettinger. His long and illustrious career at Peru State College was unparalleled in the arts in southeast Nebraska. He first came to the campus in 1979 after studies at Colorado State University and the University of Nebraska, and his impact on campus life was immediate and deep. Under his direction, the concert choir, madrigal singers, and the Misty Blues Show Choir entertained and delighted audiences for over 30 years. He was remembered fondly by friends, alumni, and current students this past Tuesday at a touching memorial service held in the Peru State College Theater. We will miss you dearly, Doc. For the Bobcat Buzz, I am the real Geo, and right now, at halftime, with 15:45 left to go on the halftime clock, our score is 7-7. The Peru State College Bobcats and the Midland University Warriors tied at 7 apiece here at halftime. Scoring goes as follows in the first quarter. It was a 1-yard run by Alex Corniss. The PAT was good, and that made the score 7-0 with 2:12 left to go in the opening quarter. And then scoring continued for the Peru State College Bobcats with 14:56 left to go in the second quarter. Aaron Smith on a 4-yard run, and the PAT was good. That was 71 yards and 10 plays. That made the score 7-7, and that is our halftime score on the Peru State College campus here of Thousand Oaks, as we are rejoined by Doc Wininger and Daryl Obermeyer. Stay tuned. Doc Wininger will be back with the player profile coming up after this short timeout on B103 Sports.
Sorry I'm late. Got held up at the pharmacy. Took forever.
You there, Gio? It's so frustrating. So glad that never happens for me anymore.
Yeah, right. Good one.
Really, I'm not joking. Yeah. Since I started taking prescriptions to my
looking pretty good, guys. You're doing great.
Their friendly pharmacists and staff understand my time is valuable. Work hard to fill my prescriptions.
Hey, Logan, how was that reading of the Bobcat Buzz?
Nice. Really good. Loud and clear.
Did you hear me trip over vagina monologues?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't get to say that one.
Download the free B103 app in the
hate to cut you guys off, but you are on in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you are on.
Welcome back to the Oak Bowl, Peru, Nebraska. Peru State and Midland tied 7-7. Now it's time to look at our Bobcat Athlete Spotlight. 2 Peru State football players have been named to the 26 USA College Football Division II preseason All-American teams. Senior offensive lineman Tyler Ford of Lincoln Southwest was named as a preseason All-American, while junior defensive lineman John Drager of Syracuse Dunbar-Avoca was on the honorable mention list. In addition, Ford was named as a 2014 Football Game Plan preseason NAIA All-American. For the USA Football Network, the preseason All-American teams are selected by members of football media organizations such as the Metropolitan New York Football Writers Association, New England Football Writers Association, Philadelphia Football Writers, and Football Writers of America Association. In addition, internet and media publications, including Lindy's Sports Annuals, Anthon Sports, Phil Steele's The Sports Network, and USA Football News, collaborate in making the selections. Also involved are college head coaches, sports information directors, and professional coaches and scouts. Tyler Ford, 6'5" and 270 pounds, was an America Football Coaches Association NAIA first-team All-American following the 2013 campaign. In addition, Ford earned Heart of America Athletic Conference first-team recognition. He was just the 9th Bobcat ever to receive first-team honors. Ford and his teammates paved the way for the nation's third-best rushing offense in the NAIA after having led the Heart of America Athletic Conference. At 6'2", 235 pounds, as defensive lineman, John Drager helped the Bobcat defense have one of the top rush defenses in the country last year. Drager was a hacked third-team selection after the 2013 campaign. Finished with 54 total tackles, 17 unassisted and 37 assisted, and added 10 tackles for a loss of 30 yards. Drager added 3 sacks for losses totaling 16 yards, had 4 pass deflections, and added 1 fumble recovery. Senior setter Courtney Jurek of Bellevue earned the first Heart of America Athletic Conference Setter of the Week recognition after helping lead the Bobcats to a pair of wins on Saturday. Jurek averaged over 10 assists per set, while Peru State defeated Presentation College and Grace University on the Grace campus. Against Presentation, Jurek had 35 assists and added 6 kills, 2 service aces, and 1 block assist. In the win over Grace, Jurek finished with a double-double as she had 37 assists and 16 digs. She also finished with a service ace against the Royals. With the 2 wins, the Cats are now 4-1 on the season. This weekend, Peru State will travel to Kansas City to play the Avila University tournament on Friday and Saturday. Mallory Hull of Merce Bluff and Logan Pabin of Columbus are the Peru State Bobcat Athletes of the Month for July, as announced recently by Athletic Director Steve Schneider. Both Hull and Pabin are being honored for the fact that they were recently selected by the Heart of America Athletic Awards Committee as the HACS nominees for the NAIA's A.O. Doer Award. This award is named in honor of the NAIA's former executive secretary for his 26 years of service to the association. The award is presented annually to a junior men's and women's student athlete in any sport who has excelled academically as well as athletically. The selection for the national award will be based on scholarship, character, and playing ability, with the student athlete having an overall grade point average of at least 3.75. Documentation as such, including a minimum of 5 letters of recommendation attesting to the character, citizenship, and leadership qualities of the nominee were required. Hull was selected by Peru State and eventually by the conference as she not only meets the grade point average requirement, but also earned HAC second-team all-conference as a libero for the Bobcat volleyball team. In addition, Hull is very active on the Peru State campus. Currently with a perfect 4.0 GPA, Pabin, too, is very busy on campus. In addition, last season, the defensive back earned HAC all-conference honorable mention. Athletic Director Schneider noted that Hull and Pabin were the logical choices for the July recognition. Schneider said Mallory and Logan, in their first 2 years at Peru State, have made an impact on their respective teams, not only as athletes, but true student athletes. They're definitely role models for all student athletes, as well as Peru State's general student population, as they are doing what they're supposed to be doing as college students. We'll be back after this timeout to take a look at our keys of the game. You're listening to Bobcat Football on B103 Sports.
No more stuck windows. No more.
How many spot blocks do you guys need?
Now carry Simonton Assure vinyl replacement windows, both in classic designs.
That was a lot of reading there, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was too much, really.
Yeah, well, that'll be taken care of next week.
How many more spot blocks will you guys need? Because we have about 2 more after this break.
Oh, you know where she is?
Logan, we're going to be doing first half stats next, and then it'll be a 60 break, and then we'll have to do review keys of the game, and then a break after that. We should be back into the second half.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Okay, you guys are on in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here you go.
Welcome back to the Oak Bowl in Peru, Nebraska. Now we're going to take a look at our keys to the game. And just got our halftime stats, so we're going on the fly here. Daryl, our key of the game. First one, can Midland slow down the Peru State running game? How did that look?
Well, Peru State has 22 rushes for 57 yards, so they definitely did. Aaron Smith has 9 rushes for 16 yards to lead the Bobcats. And the longest rush of the night, Tyler Audsley, for 12 yards.
Wow. So right now, of course, 7-7. The keys of the game still to play out in the second half. Second key to the game with that spread offense, can the Bobcats control the Midland passing game?
Well, Midland so far tonight and passing is 5 out of 12. Well, actually 6 out of 13. Jacob Gates also threw a pass for 70 yards. The longest was a 45-yard one, but Peru State hasn't been able to get in the backfield. There have been no sacks tonight.
The third key to the game for tonight's game was who will fold under the pressure, and really we haven't seen a lot of that. There had been 2 turnovers for Midland, although the second one was pretty meaningless. It was a pass play with only a few seconds left in the second half. Pass play, the fumbles back-to-back. Peru State couldn't convert on the fumble they recovered. Midland, after they got the fumbled it right back. Peru State got the fumble, could not convert on the fumble, and in fact missed the field goal. So there was not much there, any blood. How about the penalties?
Penalties are Peru State. It says no penalties. I was thinking Peru had one, but it says none for Peru State. 4 out of 25 from Midland. 4 penalties, 25 yards.
How about some individual stats, Daryl?
Well, Aaron Smith, as I mentioned, 9 rushes, 16 yards to lead the Bobcats. Tyler Osley, 2 rushes for 14. Eric Morrison, 2 rushes for 10. Bo Shepard has 6 rushes for 12 yards. And passing, Bo Shepard's 4 out of 12. Tyler Osley, 2 out of 3. and there's 98 yards passing for the Bobcats. In punting, Cody Sullivan had a 47-yard punt, but a 32.8-yard average due to that one short putt. He kind of shanked and went out of bounds at the 35. Logan Pabin, 2 punt returns for 19 yards. Audsley, 2 for 21 yards. Kickoff returns, Audsley had that good return for 28 yards. Shane Lloyd leaves the Bobcat tacklers with 5.5. Logan Pabin at 4. John Drager has 2 tackles for losses.
Talking the halftime keys of the game. Those are keys of the game. We'll look at those again when the game is over. We'll be back with more in the halftime show after this timeout. Again, Peru State 7, Midland 7. You're listening to Bobcat Football on B103 Sports. Hi, Al. Oh, thank you. Well, we will...
At Metropolitan Community College, you can earn credits in nearly 150 general education courses, then transfer those credits to a 4-year university. And credits at MCC are nearly a third of the cost. Get started today. Go to mccnev.edu/first choice. Classes begin December 1st. Metropolitan Community College, 40 years of excellence.
Your home for today's best country and Peru State athletics. KBIE.
All right, guys, you are on in 5,
B103
4, 3, 2, 1, and you are on.
Welcome back to the Oak Bowl. Peru, Nebraska, 7-7. Peru State Bobcats and the Midland University Warriors. Let's take a look at some other scores around the country right now. Wake Forest up on Gardner Webb, 23-7. Is that a law firm or a football team? Michigan State is trailing with 11:03 remaining in the fourth quarter, 39-27. The Spartans actually led 24-22 at the half, but it's been all Oregon in the second half. Louisville leading Murray State, the Racers, 59-14 late in the third quarter. It's Marshall, the Thundering Herd, over Rhode Island, 17-0 late in the third quarter. Miami of Florida, upcoming opponent for the Huskers, leading the Rattlers of Florida A&M, 31-7. South Carolina, 21-16 over East Carolina. Steve Spurrier finally found somebody he could handle. Auburn, 38-10 over San Jose State late in the third quarter. KU, the Jayhawks, over Southeast Missouri State, 31-7, a game that's on ESPN Game Plan. Louisiana Tech, 37-7 over Louisiana Lafayette, the Raging Cajuns. And Duke, 31-17 over Troy. Louisiana Monroe over Idaho. And these are all games going on right now. Northwestern State trailing Baylor 49-3 at the half. Baylor looks tough this year. LSU over Sam Houston State 35-0 at the half. Notre Dame leading Michigan in the third quarter 21-0. It's Houston over Grambling 34-0. San Diego State 14-7. Texas A&M. No score from that game with Lamar. Looking at some games that were played earlier, Tennessee beats Arkansas State. Missouri over Toledo, 49-24. K-State beats Iowa State 32-28. So the Cyclones start out 0-2. The North Texas beats SMU 43-6. In a nail-biter in Lincoln, Nebraska beats FCS power McNeese State 31-24. It was Army over Buffalo 47-39. Clemson beats South Carolina State, the Bulldogs, 73-7. And in action a little bit close to home, first of all, it's the final now. The Fighting Frankies, the Bobcats of Ohio, lose to Kentucky 20-3. A little bit closer to home, Creighton and UNO remain undefeated so far in the 2014 football season. That's a look at our scores. We'll be back with our second half kickoff after this timeout. You are listening to Bobcat Football on B103 Sports.
Drop one kid off at practice, pick the other one up from Science Club, watch the band uniform, and